Is trouble already on the horizon for Gen 8? Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another episode of PokeTalk. In today's episode of PokeTalk is just going to be a general discussion regarding the latest news on Pokemon Shield and Pokemon Sword that we got this week via the Nintendo Direct. And I got to be honest with you guys, a lot of the news that we got has not been taken well by some fans. There's already a lot of criticism, a lot of outrage by fans, a lot of pushback from Game Freak on it, and we're only 5 months away from the reveal of the game. So 5 months out, we're already into a big fan versus creator war. There could be some trouble on the horizon for this generation if they don't fix it, in my opinion. But we're not going to talk about that right this second. We'll get to that soon enough. So at risk of further rambling, let's get on with the actual discussion. So yeah, like I said, Nintendo Direct came out earlier this week, and we got some gameplay footage, actual gameplay footage from E3 on Pokemon Shield and Pokemon Sword. We also got introduced to a new gym leader, Nessa, as well as some new Pokemon here. And when we got the gameplay, there was some things that happened. The gameplay video actually got posted to YouTube, and there were a lot of dislikes. I'm like, well, wait a minute. There's like 3,000 dislikes. How could that be? You know, it's a new generation. Usually everybody's really hyped about the new generation, or they're like me and they reserved their judgment until the game came out. And it really stumped me when I saw that, to be honest with you. I wondered that for the next few days. And then, of course, we got some translations that came out and some discussions that came out of the E3 and out of some translations from Japanese. And this is where the news got hairy here and where fans are becoming outraged. First of all, we learned that Pokemon Home, the new cloud service that was going to allow you to transfer Pokemon from previous generations into Shield and Sword, or previous games into Shield and Sword, and vice versa, we learned that that's not actually going to happen. We learned that Game Freak actually put a limitation on it so that you cannot import Pokemon that are not in Shield and Sword gameplay already. You cannot transfer them into Shield and Sword, and vice versa. So if that Pokemon is not present in the Galar region, Gen 8, you cannot transfer it from any of your other Pokemon games. So you're not going to get your Alola Pokemon or your Pokemon from previous generations unless they are in the Galar region. And that really upset some fans because, and vice versa, people were like, oh, well, we could transfer some Pokemon from the latest generation and go back. Well, you can't do that either. Game Freak's kind of put that to bed. And the reason they gave was kind of sketchy. They basically said that it was too hard to animate Pokemon that weren't already in the game like this. It was a difficult engineering thing, and fans weren't really buying that explanation by Game Freak. I mean, I'm no video game designer, but, you know, it sounds logical to me that there could be some problems. But then you watch the gameplay footage and Pokemon that are from the past generations that are there, the animation looks exactly the same as it was in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and Sun and Moon, and vice versa here. So fans are really angered by this because they really don't see the point. Now, like I said, I'm not a video game designer. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a computer graphics guy. So, you know, the explanation from Game Freak sounds plausible to me, and that's just my opinion. But a lot of fans were upset about that nonetheless. I got to admit, I'm a little disappointed myself. But, yeah, you know, it's just, I think that's a reasonable explanation in my opinion. So why people are getting real upset about that, you know, that's remains to be seen. I think it was just that hopes got so high on that, and the fact that it didn't come to fruition the way that we wanted it to. Now we're experiencing that. I think that this is one of those things where hype got built up a little bit too much and expectations were set a little too high. But again, that's just me. The other big thing that Pokemon fans were angry about is that there will be no national dex in Galar. So yeah, we're not going to get the National Pokedex here. We're going to get a Rotom Dex 2.0, which again, I'm furious about it because I did not like the concept in Sun and Moon. I really did not like it in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and I do not like it now. I thought that this was a stupid concept. I'm angry that Game Freak brought it back, to be honest with you. And yeah, I just want to kind of go out and kill it with fire. But, you know, I guess that's just me, because there are some people that are genuinely hyped about it because it is a change and they want change. But at the same time, a lot of fans, this is something else that a lot of fans, hardcore fans, are not sitting well with. And I can't blame them. The National Dex, it's something that's been in every generation up to this point. The fact that it's not going to be in Gen 8, change is not a bad thing, but too much change too quickly is not a good thing either. So, keeping things the way they are for decades, while it does get stale and people demand change, you can't change it like at the drop of a hat there and expect people to be okay with it. It's just, you're going to draw criticism either way. But I can see both sides of the argument here, because without the National Dex, it just doesn't seem like Pokemon, in my opinion. And I may be a little bit biased in this one because I want to kill the Rotom Dex with fire. But I may be a little biased here, but I can understand the criticism on that one. So that criticism, I think, is justified. Then we get into the other big thing here, and that is we learned that you will not be able to use Mega Evolution or Z moves in the Galar region in Gen 8. Neither of those game mechanics exist anymore, and this is where controversy has really been drawn up over the past 48 hours, I'm not going to lie, and I've even given my 2 cents on it. And basically, a lot of fans are like, well, wait a minute here. You created these great game mechanics, maybe not so much the Z moves, but Mega Evolution for sure. You created these great dynamics here, and yet you're not going to use them anymore. So what? You create a new gimmick, you use it for 1 or 2 years, you throw it in the trash, you come up with a new one. Is this what you're going to do, Game Freak? Rather than run into these new mechanics that are crazy and they're kind of out there. They're a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion, when it comes to Dynamax, but I'm willing to give it a shot here. When you get into these kinds of things and you create great game mechanics, but you don't build on them, you just toss them out every couple of years to put in new ones that just get more and more ridiculous. It's just one of those things where you can understand why fans are not a big fan of this, and I can't blame them either. I'm not real crazy about not having my Z moves for Mega Evolution, especially if you use them competitively in Pokemon, like in the tournament arcs and things like that. If you use Mega Evolution competitively, you're pretty much screwed with Gen 8 here, because you're not going to have Mega Evolution, you're not going to have Z moves, you're only going to have Dynamax. And I mean, in a way, I can kind of see that, because a Z-powered Dynamax, could you imagine that? Or a Mega Evolved Dynamax, although Dynamax is kind of a variant of Mega Evolution, I guess we could call it. It's one of those things where you understand it from the game dynamics for the new mechanics that they put in the game. They don't want it overshadowed, but at the same time, you create these great dynamics and you don't build on them. It seems lazy, and you draw a lot of criticism for it, because especially if you have the aspects where in the games you use Z moves and Mega Evolution competitively, now you're pretty much screwed and you don't even want to pick up the game. So it doesn't really make sense to me from a marketing perspective and a fan perspective. You've got these great dynamics here. Build on them a little bit. You got them. Why not use them? Not just throw them to the curb and create this new thing that's crazy complicated. And most of the fan base, I'm not saying all, but most of the fan base, from what I've seen, thinks Dynamax is quote unquote ridiculous. But that's, again, another thing that remains to be seen. So anyway, those were the big things that we've gotten this week from Shield and Sword. Like I said, the news was controversial. The news has sparked a big debate here on just what fans want out of Gen 8. I personally am reserving judgment for Gen 8 until I've played the games, and I think it's smart that everybody does that as well. I do think a lot of this, though, is a result of our expectations being set too high, and I'm drawn back to a quote that Mr. Masuda put out, I believe it was at the end of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, where basically he said, designing games is hard. Don't get your expectations too high. And I think fans were really guilty of this, and I got to be honest, I was a bit guilty of it myself. Expectations got set too high. Game Freak wasn't able to meet expectations. They hardly ever are, because they're still human. And you're going to have people that are going to complain either way. A lot of things in here do make sense to me if you just take a second as a quote-centered person that just pulls out biased here. A lot of it makes sense to me. Some of it doesn't. And I think this is a good debate to have. I do think, in my opinion, that this was just expectations were set too high and they're not being met. So that's where a lot of this criticism is coming from. But again, that's just my own opinion, and I'm reserving judgment till I play the game, because for the most part, a lot of the game looks enjoyable to me, and I really look forward to exploring the Galar region. But as always, everybody, in the comment section down below, let me know what your guys' thoughts are about all this. Do you still plan on picking up Gen 8? Are you disappointed in Gen 8? What are your thoughts on all this? What are your thoughts on Mega Evolution and Z-Move being excluded? Do you think it's still going to make a good game? Do you think without these dynamics it's not worth picking up? Just let me know what your guys' thoughts are about all this in the comment section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. All right, everyone, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody. Hey, everyone, Templar74 here. Did you enjoy the video? Do you want to help support me in making more content like this and see your name here at the end of every video? Then consider supporting me on Patreon. Any help is greatly appreciated and will help ensure continuation and increase the quality of production of the videos that I'm able to make for all of you. Link down below. Again, thank you so much for your support and for liking and subscribing. You all are amazing. And as always, everyone, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.